Hello, hello, hello. I'm so glad to be here. I am here to help you to master yourself, to master your business, right? So, whether you are a direct seller, a network marketer, or an independent business owner, one thing we all have in common is that you take yourself with you every single place you go. So, it all starts with you. So, making your mark with a business that's successful and authentic, it's the best goal that you can possibly have. Because if it doesn't fit you, if you build a business and it doesn't fit you, even if it just doesn't fit you because you were unaware, right? Because you don't have the raised your awareness so that you can actually get what you want, then the business can't last long, right? And we're all about building something that's worth being in, that's worth having fun in, that pays the bills, and that is really, really a joyful place for you to be. So that's how come so many of us can have a story about burnout, right? That's how come we have these sort of burnout stories about, well, before we decided that we matter, right? Before we decided that becoming super aware of ourselves so that we could figure out how to matter to ourselves and not disrupt the rest of the world, how to really lean into committing to ourselves. And that's what we're here to talk about today, right? So, what does it mean? That's the topic. What does it mean? And what does it really look like if you are 100% committed to your business? You don't want to miss this. It's going to be a lot of fun. Okay. But before we get into that, I've got some new tech, trying a new sound system out. So I'm hoping that that is really going well for you guys. Please let me know. Say, hey, yay on there, right? Send me a little message that lets me know all is well. I always love to hear from you guys. I believe I will see all the comments in my little platform aggregator here. So let's make sure that you can hear me and that you can see me and that we're here together, right? Because that is the thing. It is so nice to actually get to spend time together, even though we're in all these different places. The world, it changed. And it's been changed for a while now, right? But sometimes it still feels like we're just catching up. So here we are. And it's great to see you guys with me. I can see you. Very good. Very good. Oh, thank you. Good to be here too. That's wonderful. Excellent. Oh, good. Okay. So we've got all the platforms. We've got the sound. We've got life going on. This is really good. So the other thing is, as you pop in here, whether you're here right at this very second in this moment with me, or you come in on a replay, absolutely tell me what your business is, right? Let me know. What are you doing? And it's okay to use links. You know, sometimes I think that we go around the world so afraid of like, oh, what are the rules? And how am I going to fit in the rules? And do I fit in the rules? And promotion is okay. Well, letting you know my name is okay and letting you know the name of my business, but anything else is considered promotion. Listen, we're here together. We're making a thing. Nothing bad can happen, right? Because it's going to be what we make together. It's what we make this moment, right? So we don't have to be fearful. You can just stick in there what your business is. Let me know you. Let you know each other, right? So I have never once made something bad go away by shouting at it. And I think that happens a lot on the internet. People go like, whoa, don't do this. Whoa, don't do that. But in fact, it just always, 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 always gets bigger. I was thinking about this oddly the other day, that there was a time when I literally was held hostage in my office space, which is very strange to say, because it was a business day. Like what I mean is there were no guns or anything, right? But I could leave, but I couldn't get the person to go away, right? They stayed. I left. But shouting at that never makes it smaller, right? Ease and flow. That's what makes us really damp it down and make it reasonable. So yeah. So let me know what you're up to, because I just adore knowing you guys, right? Okay. So what does commitment really mean for you? What does it really mean? Commitment is such an interesting word because it can help you to move forward, or it can actually toss you back a step or two, right? It can keep you in perpetual motion, even though you're not getting anywhere. And we're going to talk a little bit about this stuff today. So what exactly are you committed to? And is it actually serving you to be committed to it, right? Because that's the other piece of the puzzle, is committing in a way and in a space that creates forward momentum. You know, sometimes being committed is just committed to nonsense. I'm going to take a drink of water. Thank you. You should drink some water too, because it's fun. Sometimes you can get committed to nonsense, right? Sometimes you can feel like, oh, I started this movie, I have to finish this movie, whether you feel like finishing the movie or not, right? Who cares, right? So that's a really simple one. But still, sometimes we get caught up in that little hamster wheel, right? So getting committed to the little stuff can seriously get in your way, right? Because that's a wasted hour of your life if you watch the other half of that movie that you don't really care about, right? I used to have a client who would get so committed to the tasks that when she would do them, that when the project was over, she'd still be doing the tasks that were needed for the project, but that, you know how sometimes some tasks just get left along the side and you don't get to them and they're not for this time. And it's okay. You just keep moving forward and your project turns out good. But sometimes you can get really caught up in the, I said I was gonna do it, so I got to do it, right? You can get into this sort of commitment obligation cycle, committing to the doing, right? Committing to the doing, but not committed to the outcome itself. So I feel like every time I focus on this exact topic and set the right goal in my sights, then my business takes a giant leap forward. So really commit to being here with me during it, right? Because we don't meet for very long. I don't know, it'll probably be a half an hour or something that we talk to each other, but really be here. Because when we commit, right? Commit to this moment and commit to this moment and commit to this moment, something different can happen in it than when we're like, you know, using our phones and checking our Clubhouse and Instagram and all those other ones. I'm just making jokes. So this is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about mastering yourself, right? When I say master yourself to master your business, it's almost mastering your ability to put this down, right? But a lot of it is just being able to take the reins. And the only way you can take the reins on yourself is to really raise your awareness level so that you know what's happening, right? So master yourself to master your business, right? Creating by design and with purpose. That's what we're doing here. And we're committing to that. And we're finding about how we can commit to our businesses, right? So first thing that happens, hey, it's good to see you. Oh, I'm so glad you're here. I'm focusing on moving from inspiration, not outcome. So this is an interesting juxtaposition, right? So we're going to talk about this because, so we're definitely going to talk about the role of inspiration in what we're talking about today. That's great. So on the one hand, you can have not enough commitment. You know what that looks like already. You sign up with a company that you're going to sell something of as an independent salesperson, and you have like the idea in the back of your head that this is going to be your breakout moment, or you decide you're going to make a coaching package, and you kind of have in the back of your head that this is going to be it. This is going to be your moment, right? And no matter what that looks like, no matter what the thing is, there's this thing where like back here, I think things are going to work out, but up here, I don't, right? So 2 months later, you're like scratching your head and it's hard, and you don't, in like the blink of an eye, you're convincing yourself that you didn't even have that dream. Oh, no, that wasn't what I wanted to do, right? Because you didn't admit it to anybody, so you don't have to be committed, right? Or sometimes it can look like you're putting in all this effort, Herculean effort, right? Putting in all the effort, but you never get to the payoff moment. You know, you run a promotion for your business, and when people ask you, what do you hope you're going to get out of it? People love to ask this question. And what will you get out of it? There's always two answers to that, right? There's the one that I'm going to tell you, and there's the one that's in the back of my head. And sometimes there are two different answers. And if there are two different answers, then that is a real indicator to you that you do not believe, that you are not 100% in awareness and knowing, and that you are not 100% committed. You might be 99, but there's a big difference. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that in a minute. There's a big difference, right? So if you've got two answers in your head, then you know there's a commitment issue. None of us like to sound foolish. None of us like to be embarrassed. I know what that's like, right? You don't want to say like, I'm going to do this thing and it's going to be spectacular, and then 10 people show up, or you make half the money you said you were going to make, or whatever the bar was that you raised there, right? But keeping the truth to yourself means that you're only committed a little bit. So what is that? Is that like 20%? Is it 50%? Have you guys ever done this? If you've done this, just stick it in the chat. What does it feel like to you when you do this? Does it feel like 30% or 60%? How much do you hold back when you don't allow yourself the possibility to fail? What are you keeping to yourself and not allowing to grow into something in the world, right? So let me know. I'll keep my eyes peeled for those comments on the platforms there. Okay, I got you. So then on the other end, there is too much commitment, right? But it's all in the wrong direction. So you're like a dog with a bone, right? It's the other end of that same scale. All will and determination. I'm going to make it happen. People around you are asking really irritating questions like, have you tried this or that, right? Have you tried podcasting, or have you tried emailing all your friends, or are you joining the Chamber of Commerce? Are you becoming a dot? Or, all of these things that people are asking you, and you're like, oh, why? I already set my sights on the way it's going to happen. I know the way. And people are over there pointing out the easy way. And you're just like, nope, I'm going to do it. I am fixated on that one right answer. I'm making it happen. So fixated on it that you end up completely wiped out and fall short of the goal, of course, because the easy way is the better way, usually, right? That way that comes along when you least expect it, and kind of comes along and you go like, that's cool. That's kind of exactly what I was hoping for, right? You could say in that instance that you are 100% committed, right? So this is that duality of that word. 40%. Thank you for that. 40%, right? So 60% of you is not getting to blossom, is not getting to go out into the world. There's only 40% of me committed. That's not even half, right? I'm not even halfway believing. So, and that you are not alone. You are absolutely not alone. That is true for most people. And I think a lot of people would say 20%, right? Because we do that. We don't want to be vulnerable in public, and that happens, right? So here we are on the other end of that same scale. And okay, I guess that's funny. And you feel committed, you feel obligated, and you feel like obligation and commitment are really similar. But are you really 100% committed? What are you committed to? Are you committed to your big picture? Are you committed to allowing it to happen easily and with the wiggle room, right? With the wiggle room that allows other people into your picture, other people who bring in new energy and who kind of can contribute to you in this magical way. Does it allow for serendipity, your goal? Does it allow for you to say, I am committed and I am loosely accepting my world, right? And so this is a tricky balance. It's tricky, really, really tricky. Even getting back to my client there that we were talking about, where she's still writing the emails, even though the promotion had ended, right? Constantly chasing the goal and always too late. It's always, oh, but there's just one more thing I should have done. It's like, being Columbo. It's like, we were done. No, oh no, we're not done. Yes. Be present in this moment, right? And then you know what's next. So maybe for you, it doesn't look like that. Maybe it looks like doing Facebook Lives and sending emails and going to meetups and still not making your sales goals. In the olden days, we used to say, busier than a one-armed wallpaper hanger, right? Because it's a two-hand thing. Anyway, if you were into that world, you would think that was very, very funny. So being committed to the doing, but not committed to the outcome, is kind of like micromanaging yourself, right? So if I say, I am committed to going there, I am committed to saying, I want to build a business. I am committed to saying to myself, I know it's going to be a good business. I know that I can do it quickly and easily and with the help of others and without having to worry too much. Those are all about the outcome. And you can set goals around that feel comfortable for you, right? Because goal setting is a whole other topic we should talk about someday, because goal setting is super interesting, right? When you set a goal that's too tight and a goal that's too loose, and like one doesn't let you focus enough and the other one you just are like, oh, I can't get there. Anyway, so being committed to that outcome, but not to the details of the doing, not committed with absolute. So you're not actually committed with absolute knowing that the end goal is coming and that all you have to do is to see it coming and open the door, right? Because that's kind of the dream that we all have, but we hold back and then we wonder why it doesn't happen. Why does it ride by in the distance, right? Why does it go to somebody else's door? So what would happen? I want you to ask yourself this right now. Really take this in. What would happen if I were 100% committed to knowing that my goal is a reality? What would happen? What does that feel like in your body? 100% committed to knowing that I'm going to get my next client, that I'm going to make a certain amount of money, that I'm going to be able to pay a bill, that I'm going to be able to grow my company, that I'm going to attract the right people who will work with me on the company or work to build my company, right? All of that. What would that feel like, right? And what does that shift in you? So what is commitment? I want to talk a little bit about this because we've been looking at the word from so many different angles. And there was a moment in my life when I understood commitment in a totally different way than ever before. I thought I knew everything. You know how that is. You know everything. And then you get into a situation where life is hard and you go like, wow, this is different, right? So my father spent some time in the hospital, and in pretty dire situations. And one time he was laying in the bed. He did not look good. It looked really bad. And the doctor came along and he started singing a song about how terrible it was, about how bad it really was, and about how 80% of people don't make it out from this moment. My father's laying there and I'm listening and I'm thinking, oh, this is really hard. This is a really hard moment. Okay, do I stop this? Do I let it keep going? Like, should we be realistic? I don't know, right? And my father, from laying there halfway to the grave, opened his mouth and said, I'm one of the 20%. Treat me like I'm one of the 20%. When it's life and death, we ask ourselves not, can this happen? But how can I make this happen? How can I make this work? How can I find a little crack that I can get through so that I can be one of those 20%? We look for the evidence of that crack, right? We say, oh, I feel a little better. Oh, I'm doing a little better. Oh, I got a little bit of income over here. I got a little bit, right? Because it matters. It matters believing in the fact that you can get there. He walked out of that hospital, right? He absolutely walked out of that hospital because he was telling the truth. He was telling a very, very, very core truth to him. He was one of the 20%. He wasn't lying to the doctor. He knew that he could do this, and he knew it from someplace inside of him. So what is that for you? That's what commitment is, right? That is when you say to yourself, I want to have a 6-figure business, right? But you dip your toe in instead. Maybe I should go do a Facebook Live. Maybe I should run some ads. Maybe I should, right? No. Are you one of the 20% or not? Right? What if we flipped it on its head? What if you were 100% committed, like it were life and death, like it was that moment, right? Like if somebody was saying, well, I could just give you the morphine now so that you don't have to worry on your way out, right? What if you had the kind of commitment that it took in that moment to say, life is not over for me. You might be mistaken about it, but I know my bank account's going to change. I know my ability to walk out of this place is going to change. I know my business is going to change. I know I'm not done serving this world. I know I am not done having fun in this world. And I know that there is a way for me to interact through business that is gratifying and that I will be valued in the way that I want to be, to know it, really, really, really know it, right? To say, I am open, I am ready, I am expecting. I can see the truth of the end result. I know for a fact that I will, and put your goal in there. These are the mantras of commitment, right? This is the way that we fill ourselves with commitment. We fill ourselves with knowing, with belief, right? Along the way. And then as that happens, we say, not only did I grab onto that kite, but now I'm on the flying bit of my journey, right? So it's like you need kind of a magical combination, right? Of focus and determination and ease and carefreeness that becomes kind of confidence, belief, knowing to really, really get there. And there's a reason that it's hard to walk that tightrope, you know, because you've got to be able to stay on course. In that same way that my father, if he had 10 minutes later going, well, maybe you're right, you know, maybe I'll just take a little bit of that morphine just to ease the pain a little bit, you know, then off the course, right? So this is how our brains work. You may have heard me talk about this before because I love talking about it. So it is not, if you continue to listen to me, you haven't heard the last of this. I can tell you that, right? So our brains are neuron paths that we've been practicing for a really long time. they go like super highways. You know those thoughts because they're like, you are so fast. You got this. You know what's going on. You know what somebody's going to say before they say it. You know what the line in that movie is. You know how it's going to go. You're with it. You have made a super highway out of that belief, out of that thought, right? That thought that you had over and over and over again, fast as can be, right? But on the other end of that, when you're trying to have a new thought, it's like a dirt bike path, all jaggedy and hard to get down the road. And you're like, your wheels go like this and you got to compensate, right? You know what that feels like. You do, even though you may not recognize it from my description. And the reason that I think you probably do is because when you go for a walk with a friend, and you're trying to work something out in your mind, and you're talking and you're talking and you're walking and you're talking and you're walking, and you stop and you start to form a sentence, and your friend continues to try to walk and you just stop. You cannot walk and have this new thought at the same time. That is how much our brains slow down. That's what it takes to have a new thought. Right? So when what's going on in your mind is, yes, I believe I'm going to have a successful business, even though my parents didn't have successful businesses. Everybody in my life told me I was an idiot. I didn't actually get all the education that I thought I was going to get in my life. The last 3 times I tried, it didn't really go that well. Oh yeah, I've got a mountain of debt. Whatever it is, whatever those things are that are playing around in the back on that superhighway, on the superhighway in your brain, they're playing around up there. You've got to stick with that dirt bike path until it gets paved. And doing that takes practice, right? It takes practice. You have to over and over again have that thought. And it is way, 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 way easier to practice that with someone who already knows the road, right? So if you're, and people talk about this all the time, if you hang around people who are talking negative thoughts, then you're going to have negative thoughts, right? Or what's the other one? If you keep going into the barbershop, you're going to end up with a haircut, right? It's that same concept, right? You've got to get around someone who knows this road. And knowing this road doesn't mean about the doing. I'm not talking about like, oh yeah, I have to know how to place the Facebook ads, or I have to know how to exactly handle this exact situation. I'm not talking about that. What I'm talking about is knowing the road of how to make a new thought, how to create a new belief and to stick with that belief, the knowing inside of you that this is for you, that you can build the things that you want to build, that you can reach for your dreams, that there are no amount of people who are telling you to go do it a different way that are going to get in the way of your comfortable way, your exact wonderful uniqueness in the world, drawing to you all that you believe is coming, right? But you've got to get around somebody. So whether that's a coach or a guide, it's much, much, much easier if you're around someone who can kind of smooth that road with you, right? So people try to do it with mirror work, right? They try to tell themselves the same thing over and over again. Sometimes some of it works. It depends on where you are. If you're in that 20%, not the 20% of my father, I'll use 30. If you're in the 30% belief mode, it's really, really different than if you're in the 90% belief mode, right? But the goal is for you to have that thought first, and then find the way for that thought to go faster and faster and faster. So finding the evidence in your own life, finding the evidence in the world that other people have been able to accomplish things they didn't think they'd be able to accomplish, all of that, right? So you don't want to end up just dreaming the same dream month after month and year after year and 10 years from now. You find your notebook. Do you ever do this? I find my notebooks all the time. I keep notebooks. I don't know. So I do. I find my notebooks all the time. And sometimes they say things in them. And I think, wow, I've wanted that for a long time and I'm still wanting it. And other times they say things in them and I say, wow, I wanted that then. And look, I got it like only a little ways after that. I forgot I wrote that down. I forgot that I wanted that, right? Because I already have it. It's already in my life. I already reached that goal. So you've got to be able to hold that vision. And if you don't know, if you don't like have that real ability to kind of hold it, it's as if you have no power. It's as if the power, you know how like when you run a vacuum, or this is even better. You know how when you go to put the toaster on, that toaster oven, there's two knobs and one knob has heat and the other knob has the timer. Well, mine is old fashioned. What can you do? You know, if you turn the timer on, you put your bread in there and you come back 10 minutes later, ding, 10 minutes later, whatever it is, right? That bread is still bread. It's not toast. There was no power. There's no power when we don't believe it, when we don't find that way to continue to make those inroads over and over and over again. So get someone to help you build that road, right? If you're interested in working with me, there are a few ways you can do so, and they're laid out on a page that I think Julia is going to put in for you. There's ways to work with me. There's tons. You can have everything you want, right? So there's tons of ways to work with me. There's also tons of ways to get there, right? So working with me is a great way to do it. I hope you do that. But if it isn't me, if I'm not the one that you're like, yes, you're for me, that's all right. Find somebody who feels like that, I want that. I want to know that I'm going to get there. Yes. Thank you so much, Julia. I see those going in. That's just a way to get in touch with me, right? It's just information about sort of the different ways that I work with people and the possibilities and what comes true for people, and a way to get in touch with me. There's a free breakthrough session available there. So you just go ahead and check that out. There's always a way, you know, even when we don't see a way, there's always a way. So amp up the commitment, learn the skills to stay on track, and get around someone who absolutely inspires you, who you think, I want to feel like that. I want to feel like that. I have done this over and over and over again throughout my life, to be honest with you. I was thinking about this, you know, because when we look at our lives in retrospect, a lot of times we go like, no, I didn't have any help. I did that on my own. There was nobody else there, except that when you honestly look back and you think about every cool thing that ever happened to you, there's almost always someone else in the story, right? So I wanted to go to Broadway. I found someone doing it who I wanted to be like. Oh, I wanted to be like her so bad. It was so cool. And she was the beam of light, right? She was the goal. She was like, I was like, I don't know what that is, but I want to be it. This is cool. Right? And that got me there. I wanted to run a business. I found a business owner who I respected and who was willing to teach me everything. And I was able to open my own business, my own marketing company. I wanted to open a food business, right? For gluten-free vegan eaters. It was really good. I got a coach and I knew the plan and I stayed on track and I made the appointments and I kept going and I kept going and I kept over and over and over again, right? I found that commitment within. I got someone to work with. I got the coach. I got the guide and I reached the goals. It's a foolproof system. It's absolutely foolproof. So let me ask you this before we go. What is your commitment level to your dream right now? Just put it right in there. What is it? Is it 50%? Is it 75%? Is it 95%? Is it 99%? I'm going to check in on your comments. Yes, that's absolutely right. 1 foot in and 1 foot out kind of feeling. Sometimes you have that, right? But if you get 2 feet in the ring, right, then you're boxing. Then you're really going to do something, right? So if you're at that 99%, I really want to tell you this story because if there's any little tiny bit of holdback in homeopathy, this is very interesting. in homeopathy, it can take the same amount of treatment to get from 0% healed to 99% healed as it does to get from 99% to 100%. Right? You'd be like, wait, it's just this far. It's just this far. But it takes a lot of energy to get there. It takes a lot of commitment, right? And so that's very interesting. You need to know that. Like, am I 75% there? Okay, let me shoot for the 99. Okay, let me get to the 100. Let me know that I'm going to get there, right? So what happens when you lean into that to 100%? If you're like my clients, you know your best goal, you create exponential growth, right? Month after month after month. Those are some of the things my clients have done. Or you keep singing your song as you watch the world slow down and begin to respond to you, right? You do it your way, right? That old song, I did it my way, you know? And you get to keep doing, be authentic, and you get to reach those goals, but you have to do it in a very, very specific way, right? Or another one of my clients, sales get easier and easier and easier. That's multiple people. Actually, there's so many people who come to me later and say, you know, I didn't even think that was hard, but it's really way easier now. It just goes like tickety-boo, like this, right? Every decision becomes clearer, right? So check out the page. Set up a breakthrough session with me. It's completely free, so why not? And we can figure it out together. All right. Now I'm going to check back in here before I go, and 100%. We went from 40% to 100%. Very, very good. All right. I will see you guys, I hope, in the breakthrough session. See ya.